Hello everybody, this is Skarik with TFF Gaming, and today I'm coming at you with something a little different. I'm going to present you guys with my theory on what's going to be happening in the new Star Wars trilogy. Now, this isn't going to be a step-by-step of what I think will be happening in all three films, just a general storyline that I think they'll be following. Also, just to tell you, I'm using a few other theories to help supplement mine, and I'll say it now, this is in no way what is actually happening, just a theory I've come up with. However, if you're afraid that I've theorized correctly and don't want to have the experience ruined by my amazing theory, then don't watch the video. It's as simple as that. Alright, on to the theory. But first, some backstory. So we all know that Anakin Skywalker was believed to be the Chosen One, a powerful Force user that would bring balance to the Force. In the movies, it isn't explained how he will bring balance, and in the end, he never really brings balance to the Force. Sure, he kills Darth Sidious, destroying the Sith once and for all, or so they thought, but that didn't balance out the Force. Think of a pyramid with a stick balanced on top of the point with equal lengths on both sides of the stick. In order for the stick to stay balanced, there has to be equal amounts of weight on both sides of the fulcrum, which is the center point. By killing all of the Sith, including himself, Darth Vader did not leave the Force balanced because we still have Luke and Leia. And sure, you could argue that perhaps Luke isn't fully on the light side of the Force, perhaps he's equally balanced between the light and dark. Or perhaps he's accidentally fallen to the dark side in his blind rage to defeat Vader, as we saw in Return of the Jedi. But don't worry, because that will come into effect later. Now, if you've seen the Star Wars The Clone Wars episodes, which are officially canon, by the way, where Anakin and Obi-Wan visit the planet of Mortis and deal with the Ones, then you can feel free to skip ahead a bit, though I wouldn't. In the three episodes Overlord, Altar of Mortis, and Ghosts of Mortis, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka are drawn to a mysterious planet encased by a giant monolith in an attempt of sorts to determine if Anakin was truly the Chosen One. When they enter the monolith, they were whisked away from time and space unknowingly to them, and they found a beautiful planet inhabited by a, shall I say, conflicted family. Consisting of the father, the daughter, and the son, these beings were the three most powerful Force users in the galaxy, almost godly. The daughter, a physical embodiment of the light side, was in constant conflict with the son, who was a physical embodiment of the dark side. The father acted as a fulcrum to maintain a balance. Remember what I was saying earlier about balance? Well, this is where it comes into effect. The father tells Anakin that he's going to die soon. The father, that is. And the Force created Anakin as the Chosen One to replace the father when he died. Anakin didn't take to this well, and over the course of the three episodes, all three of the family, known as the Ones, died. It's a lot to explain, so I'm not going to, but it involves a lot of violence and betrayal on the son's part. Now, I know I made it almost sound like Anakin was the one that killed them, but don't worry, he wasn't. Once all the family had died, Anakin and his entourage leave the planet, which transports them back to the time they had left. Anakin and Obi-Wan believed that since both the daughter and the son were dead, there could be no more conflict in the Force, and yes, the laws of balance as I explained them to you guys agree that since there are equal amounts on both sides of the fulcrum, aka nothing, then they do equal out. However, with the father dead as well, there is no more fulcrum, so the stick is not even up anymore, so how can there even be a Force? The stick, in this instance, of course, being the Force. Well, even before this, the Jedi were noticing a lack of ability to use the Force, as Mace Windu says to Yoda in Star Wars Episode 2. It's my belief that once the Ones died, their Force power no longer exuded out into the galaxy. Therefore, the only thing keeping the Force alive was the presences of Anakin Skywalker and Darth Sidious, along with, the thousands of other Force users spread throughout the galaxy. Well, as we saw in Episode 3, Anakin did a right mighty job killing off most of the Force users. So by the beginning of A New Hope, the only thing keeping the Force alive was Anakin, the Emperor, Yoda, and Obi-Wan, plus the tiny, tiny scattering of other Force users. Alright, now we cut ahead to Return of the Jedi, when Darth Vader, aka Anakin, picks up the Emperor and throws him over the ledge. And then he dies, leaving only Luke and Leia as Force users. Leia is a Force user, as Darth Vader talks about. This is where the facts end and the theory begins. Now, as powerful as Luke and Leia are, they simply weren't enough to keep the Force going. So the Force goes into sort of a hibernation and disappears almost entirely. Once Luke realizes this, he sends himself into exile for 30 years. The reason I say this is because it's confirmed that the movie takes place 30 years after the end of Return of the Jedi, and there have been plenty of evidence to suggest Luke being a hermit. I mean, look at Mark Hamill here. Doesn't he kind of remind you of a certain hermit we've all come to know and love? Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, after 30 years of studying and searching, he finds Anakin's account of his adventure on Mortis, and he figures out why the Force has disappeared. He realizes that he and Leia must take the place of the son and daughter, while Anakin in ghost form must act as the fulcrum which maintains the balance, which of course means that he would finally fulfill his role as the Chosen One. Now you're all saying, how can that be possible? Vader's dead, blah blah blah. He wouldn't come back to do that, or whatever. But in the second teaser, Luke clearly says that his father has the Force. I don't know about you, but I usually refer to dead people in the past tense, not the present. This might suggest that Luke has been in some form of base contact with his dead father. Maybe Anakin even led Luke to find his account of the Mortis incident. Now I know I said the Force was basically dead, but I didn't say that it was dead. The Force might have been trickling a tiny amount of energy into allowing the Chosen One to communicate with his son, so that Luke might figure out what he has to do. Once Luke realizes what must be done, the Force musters up one final huzzah and springs back to life in a desperate attempt to come back full swing. This could be what Andy Serkis was describing as the awakening in the first teaser, and why Episode 7 will be called The Force Awakens. Now with this awakening comes a whole new batch of Force-sensitive people. Among them is Kylo Ren and Rey Solo. Now we know the full name of Kylo Ren, but we don't actually know for sure if Rey is in fact Leia and Han's daughter. But I'm pretty sure she is, as well as I'm sure that this here is Leia handing Luke's first lightsaber to Rey. Now let's talk for a moment about Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is believed to be, by popular theory, a collector of Sith artifacts. I won't go into details about that theory because it's not originally mine. If you want to hear more about that, look into it. However, for the sake of helping to legitimize my theory, I believe that it is Kylo who, due to his fascination and collection of Sith artifacts, such as Darth Vader's helmet, as seen in the second trailer and this concept art, his mask, which is very reminiscent of Darth Revan's from the Old Republic, and perhaps even his lightsaber, which appears to be older than any other saber, as seen by the design, and the way the blade flickers, has also been in small contact with Anakin as a way for the Force to remain balanced. Kylo Ren realizes what Luke intends to do, and in an act of selfishness decides to stop him in a false belief that if the Force fails to come back, it will try to survive by living within the strongest Force user currently available. He sets off in a mission to stop Luke and Leia and kill any other Force users to maximize his chances at the Force potentially manifesting itself through him. Kylo Ren creates the First Order with the help of a small pockets of remaining Imperial forces, and uses them to help destroy the remaining Force users, stop Luke and Leia from bringing balance, and eventually, due to his lust for power, become the new Emperor of the galaxy. Now on to Finn. I won't talk much about him because there's not much evidence to suggest what he might be in the film. My belief is that in an effort to get a message to Leia to tell her about what the two must do on Mortis, Luke sent out a desperate Force message of sorts to Leia, who had been living on Tatooine with Han and Rey. However, there wasn't enough power to get the message directly to Leia, and instead the message accidentally came to a New Order stormtrooper who was involved in a raid on Tatooine to find Leia and Rey. The message was so powerful that the stormtrooper Finn was knocked unconscious and left for dead by his comrades. He was found later by Rey, who he told the message to. Rey realizes the importance of the message and tries to take him to Leia, but they are cut off in another attack, this time by TIE fighters attempting to finish the job. Finn and Rey are split from Leia, and they must reunite so the message can be delivered. Since we have no materials yet to theorize properly on episodes 8 and 9, the conclusion of this theory will be kept kind of brief. Once Finn and Rey, with the help of the New Republic, reunite with Leia and tell her the message, Leia must find Luke in exile, and the two must go to Mortis to act as the son and daughter, with the ghost of Anakin acting as the fulcrum of balance in between them. This also means that Luke would have to allow himself to succumb to the dark side, but it's also possible that this may have already happened while he was in exile. Plus, he's kind of looks like a Sith anyway. I mean, he dresses all in black and he acts very reckless. Regardless, I'm really excited for the new movies, and I'm really hoping that my theory is wrong so that the plot of the new trilogy will be a complete surprise to me. So if you find any plot holes, please let me know. I will do my best to amend my theory depending on the plot hole, and if I can't amend my theory, then I will be happy knowing that it's wrong. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for plenty of awesome gaming videos, and may the Force be with you.